So this is, let's say, the next step in our, let's say, overview of, let's say, what hardware products Oracle is bringing to the market. Well, obviously, we've talked about the T-series services, we've talked about the T4, we've talked about the T5. We will be touching on the M-series server also. Haven't delved too much into detail because we're in transition with the M-series servers. We've talked about our x86, obviously, servers. We've talked about our Zego appliance, and we've talked about our ODA, our Oracle Database appliance. Now, you've heard of all these, let's say, hardware components, and let's say for a full stack in today's IT world, to, let's say, increase the performance, to increase the capacity, to increase the high availability, to, let's say, increase, let's say, the business continuity, to increase, let's say, the workload. Sometimes for the vast amounts of information people are dealing with these days, they need separate devices that don't need to be on servers, because sometimes when you build a server, you've got a limited amount of space for storage. So what seemed to be the need over the years was storage devices to sit very closely by the servers, to be directly attached to the servers, or to sit on the network. Okay, so hence the idea of NAS and SAN, network attached storage, storage attached network, attached to the device traditionally, or attached or put somewhere out on a network. Okay, so Oracle has got a few product lines, two main ones, or three product lines. We've got a smaller OEM box, which is the 2600. And then let's say we've got our ZFS storage appliance, and we've got a new acquisition, or a very recent acquisition. Well, at this stage, probably not very recent. We've got Pillar. So the first in the, let's say, the storage story for you guys for today is going to be the ZFS storage appliance. Okay. What's to say about it is it would be that it's a scalable box. It pretty much comes in three different attributes, three different sizes, from, let's say, small for small to medium enterprises, to medium to bigger enterprises, to your, let's say, enterprise-wide storage. So that would be for your very, very big companies who data mining, crunching a lot of numbers, any e-commerce, e-business, YouTube, you're storing a lot of, let's say, images and things like this. You need to access that these images and these, let's say, videos and stuff. The need for, let's say, there's been a massive growth in, let's say, storage. And remember, every time you're having a server conversation with a customer, it's always the question is, how's about the storage? What's your growth? I mean, it's been exponential growth in storage and things like this. And how that works within the world of computing is, I mean, a lot of people have the opinion that, let's say, okay, I go to, it works somewhere up there, but you connect to, let's say, iTunes with your, let's say, your iPhone, and you download, let's say, whatever, a book, a movie, a song, okay, a podcast. I mean, all that has to be stored somewhere. And if you think, let's say, I mean, I've got 16 gig on this, okay, and I tried to update my applications recently and said, sorry, I haven't got enough room, okay. So it just shows you, even let's say this is 16 gig. I remember when I bought a hard drive in 1999, it came with a 2 gig hard drive. Wow. And the thing took up half the desk. Okay? So in other words, obviously because of the growth in, let's say, information, the growth in videos, technology, YouTube, whatever, ABC tube, whatever sort of tube you're talking about, okay? Whatever, let's say, medium we're talking about e-commerce, we're talking about business intelligence, and let's say the way media is moving, it's digitized, it's, let's say, growing exponentially. That's why we need these storage devices, because unfortunately the way a lot of servers have been designed, they're not designed to take into account, okay, of this, let's say, what in many respects is what they call unstructured data, okay? So moving forward, the ZFS device. So when we're talking about some of the, obviously, what's our competition here? We're going to be talking about NetApp. We're going to be talking about best efficiency, award-winning management and analytics, best quality, ranked #1 by Storage Magazine recently. Best for Oracle software. Remember what we're talking about? Oracle software engineered to work together. We look into it. Think of, let's say, for instance, some of the components that go into the ZFS storage device, they might be in the for instance, the Exadata machine, okay? So we use the disks and stuff in a different, the user components would be in different products, okay? And it's engineered with Oracle software. Remember the one stack message. So what does it come with? It comes with great analytics. It comes with great efficiency, okay? For, let's say, rack and let's say the hybrid, you can actually go with hybrid columnar compression, which comes with, let's say, one of the advanced enterprise database options from your Exadata machine through to here. Okay, so you can use hybrid columnar compression on the ZFS device. Best performance for online transaction processing. It's two times faster than NetApp for online transaction processing. Online transaction processing, e-commerce, eBay, Amazon, these sort of people, okay? So this is what we're looking at, the 7420. This is the big box. So obviously this is basically a rack cabinet with a lot of storage in it. So this is your 42U, 42 pizza boxes, okay? It's trusted by Oracle IT, okay? Sorry, here we are. I was looking at there. It's turned around on here. So it runs on, so let's say we've got, let's say, storage appliance. We've got 40 petabytes, okay? So when you guys log into your, let's say you go to OXO or you log into whatever application we want. We will, we log into, let's say, HR app, IQ, where you, let's say, apply for, let's say, some holiday or stuff like this. Some of that information will be stored on one of these machines. So we use this stuff internally. So always the customer asks the question, well, do you use it yourselves? Of course we use it ourselves. It's always, you've really got to put your money where your mouth is when you're, let's say, selling hardware. You've got to be using your own stuff. I work for an IT company, and all of a sudden there was, all of a sudden there's a big hullabaloo because we started installing some of the applications that we were, let's say, selling, because we weren't actually using those applications internal. And the following week, a customer was coming around to see us in practice how we were using our own software. So all the IT guys were working busy that weekend. So it's always good to put your money where your mouth is in regards to what you're selling to your customer.
I think that's why Fusion
So what I was saying to you guys, basically network attached storage, the third generation of it. We've got three basic products, 7120, 7220, 7420, okay? So we got the, let's say, for data protocols, we all know what a data protocol is. Fairly straightforward. How do you transmit information across a copper wire, or whatever the wire is? It might be fiber channel, whatever. It might be glass, fiber optic cable. But they use different protocols, industry standard protocols. There's nothing different or nothing, let's say, nothing too funky or different about it. We've got FTP, file transfer protocol, fiber channel, iSCSI. Okay, we all know what these protocols are. And then we also have, let's say, a thing called dedupe, which is deduplication. One of the, let's say, the beauties of our storage device, well, most of them do now, but you understand what deduplication is? Okay, one person does, but what deduplication means is that, let's say, if the storage device comes across data, which is exactly the same as data that has passed before, it will go, right, I'm not going to store that twice. Okay? That's what deduplication is. So it won't store the data twice. Okay? Any questions? Great, no questions. So what do we support? Obviously all the Oracle stack, Oracle Solaris, Linux, database, middleware applications, VMware. Obviously VMware is such a big player. We'd love just to be exclusive to our own Oracle VM, OVM, but unfortunately we're not, because we're in a commercialized world. Some businesses like to run it. Obviously Windows, more than 50 other business applications are supported with this device. Now what have we got now? Obviously we're integrating this machine with the latest and greatest in technology. So the hard drives are pretty much utilizing the latest standard in hard drive technology, which is the 15,000 RPM hard drives that are stacked into this machine.
Quick question.
Yo.
What controllers do they use? Earlier we used to have that, I don't know, I just thought I'll ask because we used to have the problem with LSI controllers. Now what controllers is it?
I'll have to get back to you. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
These servers have, these storage also have part numbers for servers, if I'm not wrong, right? Because the servers are use x86 servers to x86 servers?
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And we have not had any, you should cut this off. We have not had any enhancement to our storage for the past 2 years, after acquisition. I mean, we have had on servers, we have had on tape, we have had on...
Well, you see, we had the pillar acquisition, so it's like...
ZFS has been a change in the ZFS storage. It wasn't like before.
How do you mean?
I mean, it's a new structure for as a storage.
Yeah.
So they changed the storage because the ZFS, it has like the encryption inside.
Yeah.
It has like a mirroring. It
Yeah.
like some kind of load balancing.
So I'm just. This is basically just an introduction to the. We talk about the ZFS. Let's say the ZFS operating system and the brains behind it. We go into that a bit, but this is just purely let's say. Get it out there, talk to you guys about what we've got. So you're literally, you can have those conversations. But getting back to third generation NAS storage, so pretty much those are the features. These are the products. How do they work? We're going to dive a bit deeper into it now. So what have we got? We've got data protocols, data services, and management. Okay. As I already said, what sort of protocols? How does this communicate across wires, across fiber channel, across whatever medium of communication you so wish to use? All the industry standards are included. Okay. What sort of service for, let's say, database do we service? What do we do? We support a hybrid columnar compression. Okay, HCC. So you can do HCC on it. Okay. We can, let's say, do hybrid storage pools. We can do single, double, triple parity RAID, okay? This is, let's say, a high availability thing. This is for, let's say, business continuity. We can go up to mirror, triple mirroring, snapshots and clones, inline deduplication. I talked to you about deduplication at all. Compression, thin provisioning, clustering, okay? Ugly slides, however, just to get the point across. So we've got, let's say, how do we manage it? Well, how do we manage? We've got a GUI based. As far as I know now, we've a ZFS app. So you can actually have a look at your storage from the beauty of the beach as you're sipping your beer. You can check out how's my storage doing, okay? We've got a very, very intuitive ZFS management dashboard, which is very, very granular and enables you to see what's happening on your storage real time. It's got phone home technology like the ODA device, where it goes, oh, whoops, I have a failing hard drive in position bay 26, 25, 24. Sends an email to support go, have a look at the logs and go, right, this person needs a new hard drive. Support dispatches the hard drive. Customer gets notification, your hard drive is here. I've heard instances where the customer did not even know he had a failed hard drive until it was left in his inbox, in his pigeonhole within his organization, okay? Dtrace Analytics is another beautiful thing. It comes from Solaris operating system, okay? And it's basically an analytical tool in which you can really go very granular on your storage, what's happening to your storage. You can literally go down to the user who's interfacing with a file on your storage. So you can work out who's got all those MPEGs, images, who's got all those, let's say, all those movies on your storage, why is there so much network traffic coming through from this place, okay? Are we on 6? Okay. We're the only storage appliance with hybrid storage pools. We're not going to go too deep into hybrid storage pools for time purposes and for simplicity purposes. You just got to know that what it does is basically it can automatically migrate between different areas of memory for speed and efficiency, okay? So it will continuously optimize your system for performance and efficiency. So what that does is it simplifies the management as a single storage pool. And now we've got the 15,000 RPM disks within the device, okay? So random uncached. So this is great for random uncached data, okay? We're going to talk about storage tiering and how it works, the next module. Okay, so what we've got is write SSD. We can configure, and we can also go in and figure to, let's say, favor writes over reads. Okay? Yeah.
And this is if you have more downstream than upstream.
Yes, and especially with the other device, Pillar, we'll do a bit, and we've got a fairly good intuitive slide which shows you.
This is good for if they are running mobile applications.
Exactly. Now remember I just talked.
Very, very important, by the way. Does anybody else has this? They can favor write over read?
That's a yes/no answer, because if there was somebody sitting here from EMC, they would unequivocally say, "Oh, of course we have it."
Yeah,
However, it's an
they have to
argument
show
factor.
they can-
It's an argument factor that we don't need to get into here. So when we're talking about the D-Trace analytics, this is, remember what I was telling you about, let's say the granularity, you can real-time assess and see what's happening with your storage. Why is this spiking here? You can click into it. It'll come out in file format, it'll come out in graph format, it'll tell you where is the spike originating from, who's doing what to my storage at any particular time. Really, really, really good. Because it's based on, it was developed by one of the guys who would be, let's say, one of the, I don't know whether he's with us anymore, whether he's with Oracle, but certainly it's a very, very powerful analytical tool, and it's very unique to the industry. Real-time visualization of application storage related workloads. So on the right, we've got a picture of a database and table index analytics. So we can actually go in and look and see what a database that's been stored on this storage is doing. Really, really nice. Sometimes, people prefer to use this than some of the tools that come with Oracle's database, because it's easier, the interface is easier to work with. They don't have to troll through a alert IDB log to see where, let's say, a bottleneck is happening. An alert IDB log is an Oracle database log file. Okay, so it tells where alerts happens. But sometimes they can watch out for these here, and they'll have more information. So for instance, for workloads with your database, for that sort of an analysis, for quick troubleshooting, is really, really good. So it's a simple yet sophisticated instrumentation providing real-time comprehensive analysis. Okay? So and it also supports multiple, it mightn't necessarily be the Oracle database, it could be, let's say, JD Edwards could be connecting to your storage. Okay? It can be saved, exported, and replayed for further analysis. So, for instance, I've got this ongoing glitch. I'm going to open a P3 level service request. Engineer goes, okay, what happened, when, and where? Okay, well, I'm just going to export you this, and you can actually replay it at your leisure and have a look for your analysis. I don't know what's gone wrong. Support Oracle, please help me. Okay? Further dive into the beauties of the D-Trace analytics. The most powerful analytical tool available, okay? So it's real time. So you see what's happening. What's happening in my system? Oh, this is what's happening in my system. So for instance, let's say, in this instance, a biotech company pinpoints disk bottlenecks. Bottleneck. Okay? What's happening? So he goes over, has a look. And one was wondering, why is it high disk utilization, or is it high IOPS, input, outputs? What's going on? So he goes over, has a look, and it's a web services company, let's say, resolves client read performance issues by correlating the specific write options. Okay. Well, what that means is that the company was able to go in and analyze what the biotech's problems were, and able to work out that it was something coming from their web-based applications. Or else, for instance, a financial services company pinpoints partial block update issues, stuff you wouldn't see with NetApp, stuff you couldn't. Bless you. What else is it good for? It's, let's say, load balancing, UK bank, visualizing and rebalancing system resources for critical file issues. So this is, let's say, this is the interface. It's nice, it's funky, it's good. It works on any, let's say, client-based application. We've got a app for it for the iPhone. I'm sure there's an app for the Android also. Okay. Okay. So where does our 7 series storage sit? Where's the competition where would we look, and how does it sit in within the stack? Now, I showed you yesterday, let's say, how our servers, and we were talking about, let's say, our integrated stack and what the competition had yesterday. We were looking at people like IBM, we were looking at people like HP, and how they fit up in regards to it's a complete engineered solution. So here's, let's say, a nice stack. Let's say show you where EMC and where NetApp sit up against us. Obviously, here we are now. They're putting us at the bottom end of the pile here. So we've got, let's say, the full stack here. From EMC's point of view, what have they got? They've got storage. Do they have networking? No. They've got VMware, yeah. Does EMC have an operating system? I don't think so. Do they have a database? Nope. Do they have middleware? Nope. Do they have applications? Not really, okay? Now when we go to another, let's say, competitor of ours called NetApp, we can see here that they're failing the entire middle tier, whereas EMC partially fulfills, a very limited amount of it. But obviously when you're having the conversations, there's a few things you can bring in. So let's say, EMC, for instance, what happens if, let's say, you have an EMC device connecting to a Microsoft Windows operating system with a DB2 database using, for instance, Oracle's WebLogic? Whose problem is that issue going to be when you're from a support perspective? So obviously, in this respect, we've got one neck to choke. Here, we have multiple vendors, so we have multiple problems, multiple people to deal with. We're exasperating the situation. We're exponentially increasing the support calls. Let's say we had a problem with our, let's say, storage, but it's coming from somewhere out here. We've got to call networking. We might have to call VMware. So we might call Cisco. Okay, VMware, we've got internal. We can talk internal. Could be the operating system. Got to speak to Microsoft. They say it's DB2. No, it's Oracle's problem. Okay? Very, very difficult to manage. Very, very difficult to, let's say, troubleshoot issues with your storage when you've got a situation like this. Obviously, with, let's say, NetApp, it's even worse. Okay? It's an ugly slide, but very, very quickly, I'll go to it. 7120, 7320, how do we stack up? Where's our advantages and where's our disadvantages? I will post you these slides via email. That's a busy slide, and you can go through it at your leisure. But certainly we have the advantage on nearly every level, as opposed to any of NetApp's corresponding machines. So, but one caveat, let's say, do not try and match 320 series, NetApp 320 series with 7420. One thing that NetApp try and do is they try and undersell. They don't sell the proper solution to the customer. And then they go back 6 months later when the customer goes, "Oh, bottlenecks, I don't have the capacity." Oh, well, we're going to cost you twice the price of the original one, which is a quarter more expensive than the Oracle one you were pitching, but within 6 months the customer has to upgrade or change his solution. So be well aware, if a customer's talking about NetApp, make sure they don't undersell the solution when we're talking about storage. Okay? So let's say we're going to have a SPC2 benchmarks. So basically, SP2 are independent. So they ran some tests between us, IBM, HDS, which is another producer of storage, okay? Worked out that it was 7 times less on a price performance ratio as any of our major competitors, okay? So if you can see here, here's probably the one that makes the most sense. Price performance, okay? That's dollar per megabits, 35.24 versus 270 with IBM versus 187 with HDS. So you can see where we come in. A lot of people say the impression is, oh, we're really, really expensive. But when we're talking total cost of ownership over 3 and 5 years, remember, these are the messages you got to display to your customer, okay? Here's another one. Megabytes per second, we beat the competition. And dollar per megabyte,
We beat the competition.
we beat the competition. Far, far cheaper, especially in IBM. And where is this? The Storage Performance Council, independent body. This isn't us, waving, Oracle statistics under your nose. This is, let's say, the independent people. And if you need the link, it's storageperformance.org. One word. Yep.
These performance statistics, I mean, I've read some, I'm not very accurate now here, but I've read like a year and a half ago benchmarking on statistics, performance statistics between IBM and Oracle. And if you read the critics, they go into the details of the criteria of what exactly was performed during the test, and they start with, is it clear cut between, I mean,
Well, you see,
performance and are the criteria like all the same?
but they try and
They
do,
run it?
they try and do like for like. So we've got a few different independent organizations.
Yeah.
So they try and do like for like. So we can only rely on these. I mean, there are a few you've got.
If you go, and what I'm trying to say is that if you go now into the details of these tests, and you see what IBM is saying, or
Yeah.
NetApps or whatever,
Yeah.
they will go into detail. Yeah, but they run this test under this configuration, this criteria, and these circumstances, and this environment. It's not entirely accurate.
What you're
There's
saying.
always something to be said. When they
There's-
mention something like this, I mean, am I confident enough to say that this is 100%?
Okay. There's always potentially some ambiguity
Yeah, that's
with some of these figures, okay? But we can only rely on what spec.org are saying. It's IBM contribute to spec.org, Oracle contribute, EMC, the whole lot of them contribute. These guys are supposed to be independent. Now, all we can do is, let's say, show the customer and let the customer decide. So maybe I understand where you're, excuse me, I understand where you're coming from. When you're talking to these conversations with the customer, maybe it's a good idea to go, please realize that there's a lot of ambiguity with these figures, and maybe don't rely on this sort of stuff too much within your conversations. What we're talking about, the better message is the one stack solution, engineered to work with Oracle hardware, Oracle software. That's what you're really trying to get across.
Something else that I look for to do.
This is a bit of salt and pepper to put on top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if they
It's-
if they want to put their finger on the
Yeah.
problem, then I have the demos.
But you can also overdo it on the salt and you can overdo it on the pepper. You know what I mean? So use sparingly, I would say, this sort of material, and when you're discussing this with your
we
customer.
have partners who have like demo machines.
Well, you should, let's say, leverage.
We can let them install their application
Exactly.
and run in their own environment, but make sure that. So in this case, it doesn't matter what the numbers are saying. If they need what they require, then we're done.
If you're working with partners, leverage the partners. You tell the partners, right, okay, go on out and install DB2. Go on out and install WebSphere. Go on out and install Oracle. Go on out and install and see who wins. You know?
And not only this,
And I'm fairly confident that if they do a like for like comparison, we'll win.
Yeah.
Okay?
and how I don't think many of salespeople really use these.
Yeah.
It again depends.
It's scary, man, because you always have someone
Yeah.
who did a little
It's
bit
not
more
easy.
research than you and find and go. Man,
Exactly.
you will never
and then
finish the argument.
the market and the accounts that we are dealing with, and those accounts, if we start using these, I can bet on you. It's not easy for them to go back and read. How many people will go back and read that what were the benchmarks? Not many people.
Yeah. But just always point to the that these guys are supposed to be independent, okay?
Yeah. So we can just use this.
Spec.org, just say, there you go, off you go. If you've got a partner, let the partner prove the worth of Oracle hardware, software, which is engineered together, okay?
This is just contingency. If
Exactly.
You meet with someone who is serious enough to go and start reading.
Okay, so this would be, let's say, IOPS. This might be connections to a database. Dollars per connections to a database, connections to a, let's say, interaction between middleware and the database tier. So these are some other, let's say, benchmarks that are out there that you guys can have a look at. So what sort of products do we support? Where would you position? So let's say less than from what you guys are telling me on the performance benchmarking and more on the concentration on the full stack. So supports a wide range of applications: database, virtualization, field service and file service infrastructure, video streaming and surveillance. We were living in a big brother world, okay? You know what I'm saying? Consolidation, okay? Web infrastructure and content management.
But virtualization we still don't support. We don't certify VMware, right?
We support it,
We support it.
yeah. But as far as certification is concerned, that would be a grey area, okay? Because for instance, if a customer is big enough, okay, and he's using VMware and he's using Oracle database and he's paying Oracle, 10 million a year in support contracts, okay? And all of a sudden he has a mission critical application that is not functioning on VMware, I think quite quickly we will be supporting him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay?
A lot of customers say that they use virtualized environments and they want to take backup directly from the virtualized environments onto the disk.
Yeah.
Have you heard something like that before?
Just run that one by me again.
A lot of customers run virtualized environments. In
Yeah.
fact, everybody runs virtualized environments like VMware, and they want to take, backup from
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
onto the disk.
Of
And
course.
If it is Oracle VM, I know for 100% sure we'll support. We'll say yes, it was perfectly possible. We'll do it.
Yeah.
But with VMware, how does it work out?
I don't know. We're talking,
Gray area.
we're just talking about Oracle products here. I am assuming it'll work the way it works. So basically you'll install VMware, you'll have your virtual manager, you will use, let's say, a portion of the storage and you would just literally store it on the device. For that sort of particular storage scenario, it's very, very transparent. It works as is. There's no funky configurations, okay?
Right.
And we did say a few slides back that we supported Windows and VMware. So it should function as any other storage functions and interacts with VMware and whatever the VMware management console is, okay? So for consolidation places, it's very good. For your big brother is watching you, technology, video streaming. If you ever walked down a street in the UK at the moment, you will see cameras all over the place. It's quite possible some of the information, like your face, is currently residing on a ZFS device somewhere. Yes, it is. If you've been in the UK recently.
At the moment you apply actually for a visa, for example, for the US or whatever,
Yep.
they share it amongst your organizations.
Yep.
They share your details.
Yep. For what else we talk? We're talking about cloud, business continuity, disaster recovery, backup data and protection, consolidation, content management. Okay, so you've got unstructured and structured content as well. It's very, very good for that sort of thing. So what's the scalability? What's the where are we going? Well, we go to 7120. We can go from 3.3 terabyte up to 177 terabyte. Okay. So what is it? It's a scalable, intelligent set of storage products with common software. So it's basically economic to manage large amounts of data with ease of deployment and simplification of the management. So what we're doing is we're going from, let's say, we're trying to go from very small right up to enterprise class. So it's very, very scalable. So what workloads? Pretty much anything you've got to throw at us, it will handle that workload. Okay? Use cases: file sharing, web storage, consolidation, virtualization, VMware environments, multiple data services, backup, archive, streaming, videos, media development environments, YouTube, eBay, whatever web content, whatever you want to store your data. So when we go Sun ZFS Storage to 7320, the Sun ZFS Storage 7320 scalable up to 432 terabytes. Now the 74, we're talking about petabytes. So we're going literally from small to medium, right up to, let's say, libraries and things like this. Big insurance companies, let's say, State Farm in the US, for instance. It's a National Health Service in the UK. Etihad Airlines, for instance, in the Middle East. Just give me a South African company that might use something like this. So it's pretty much stuff that, you know, big players, transnational corporations, multinational corporations would be using this sort of machine. So here's, let's say, what we're going to be talking about next. Next module this afternoon, we're going to be talking about our tape storage devices. So you can hold off on the questions for the tape device until we get to there. But anyway, let's say the scenario where we use a ZFS storage appliance, the 7420, for the backup and recovery of an Exadata. Remember we were talking through our ODA Odyssey this morning. We were talking about where from out of this group, a small database appliance machine. Okay, so this is the Exadata. This is the big boy. Okay, so Oracle only provides a native IB storage solution with ZFS Storage Appliance. So basically, we can directly connect hundreds and save up to hundreds of thousands of dollars over 3 years. So what does that do? It reduces our media manager licensing and support requirements. So for this, let's say what we do, we'd be backing up our Exadata to the ZFS storage appliance, and through the use of Oracle Reman, okay, we would actually back it then up to tape. Okay, so this is a tape device. So for, let's say, disaster recovery, we would actually have this off-site, or we'd leave the tape in the device. Okay. So this would be, let's say, we'd leverage space and time saving using database features, incremental merge and roll forwards. This is database stuff that you guys at the moment do not need to really get into. So basically, what's the beauty about using the data recovery through a ZFS storage appliance? We got 200% faster throughput. So the important thing here is very, very fast to recover our Exadata machine using the ZFS storage appliance. It's been tested, validated, and supported. And it's documented. This is actually a documented scenario where you can actually click on it and have a look at how you can use this for your backup and recovery of your Oracle Exadata machine. So remember, we were talking about how the storage runs as a good backup and recovery option. So what else can it be for? It can be for, let's say, where we've got, let's say, a storage consolidation play, where we need optimized performance, where we need better manageability, where we need solid data and integrity, where we need to reduce our costs. Okay? So pretty much we have, let's say, a load of applications, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? We've got all these, we've got all disk requirements for all these. The information is going to God knows where. So basically, we can all roll these up, put it into here. Okay? All the storage requirements, the excess storage requirements for here. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Oracle Database, PeopleSoft, CRM, SharePoint, Enterprise Content Management, okay? E-commerce, okay? Our web-based shopping store, okay? These all need separate data storage points, okay? Separate disks, separate devices, if they so wish. So we've got a very mismatched, so we potentially have storage connected here, storage connected here, storage connected to here. Basically roll all this up and put it onto this machine. So as you can see here, data file, our database, email, data, store, okay? Basically it simplifies your IT infrastructure again, brings it all under the Oracle umbrella. Beautiful for virtualization environments as well. Don't really think beautiful when we're talking about this sort of stuff is really a good word to use, but anyway. Anybody have any questions on this? So for instance, here what we're doing is we're virtualizing multiple virtual environments into our storage, okay? And for instance, we're using potentially an offsite tape device to back that up. We're going to be talking about tape this afternoon. This looks like a 8500 to me, but I could be wrong. So what it is, again, it's optimized performance, better manageability, solid for your data integrity, and it reduces costs.
Can you just give me a small example about solid data integrity?
Solid data integrity. Sometimes we'll check will be if you so wish, you can check for data integrity. So it will detect a corruption, for instance, in some instances in data. So it'll see a corruption and it'll send an alert.
It doesn't autocorrect.
We see it doesn't exactly know. It would have to have some sort of algorithm to tell it what it should be. And sometimes you don't know what's being stored on your disk. It's not going to autocorrect it. But if it sees that in a stream of data there's something vastly wrong, okay, where it's, sometimes as the data's going through, it can look really, it can be gibberish. It will say, hang on for a second, we're storing gibberish. So it does have some capacity for keeping your data correct and in keeping the integrity of your data up and running, or not up and running, keeping the integrity of your data solid. So here's, let's say, a play for backup and storage business continuity. So what's the business driver? Why would you want business continuity? What's in it for me? Well, obviously, if you're relying on an online store and your, let's say, systems go down and you've no backup, what happens to your business? Your business is gone. So we're talking about things of business continuity. It's very, very important. So this would be, let's say, a full backup and restore situation, okay? So what's the business drive? Reduces the risks, and in another, let's say, step for your storage, you're going to get increased productivity. It's also good for long-term data retention. If you need to, let's say, start mining your data for customer information. So for, let's say, a backup storage and business continuity solution, what are the components you're going to need? Okay, for, let's say, this is, let's say, a fairly compact way in, let's say, showing it. Here you'd have your, let's say, your clients connecting, let's say, with your, this could be your, let's say, your interface through your web commerce site, for instance. These could be either, let's say, external clients, let's say, internal business users. Comes in here, let's say, interacts with the server, does whatever it has to go. What happens to this information? It goes off to the ZFS storage appliance, okay? Let's say for disaster recovery, they have a primary site, and it's for the disaster recovery, they'd also have a secondary site with the storage. Why? Because let's say if the building burns down with this storage, they can get at the storage here, okay? Let's say, so in other words, sometimes within buildings it'd have two data centers, sometimes within the one building. And this would interact with this on a, let's say, on a primary disk, backup disk solution, okay? As a disaster recovery scenario. But one last, let's say security, or one last, let's say, way of securing disaster recovery, or let's say preventing, let's say, complete total loss of data, is that then they bring in a tape library, okay, which is per megabit, let's say, per storage is very, very cheap. But what they would do is then they take this, the tape of the data and store it somewhere off site. So you've got another level of, let's say, of security for your data. Does everybody follow that?
Tiered storage.
Pardon?
Tiered.
Exactly. It's where we'll talk about tiered storage this afternoon. Lovely, lovely topic. I'm sure you're all looking forward to it. So what's the advantage? You're going to shorten your backup windows because you've got integrated compression. We provide you guys with scripts and a thing called workflows to ease the burden of setting up disaster recovery, because it's quite a complex thing to set up. So we do have, let's say, inbuilt scripts, inbuilt workflows to assist you in, let's say, doing your ZFS. And let's say we also have, let's say, products, for instance, Oracle Reman. We've seen this similar one again. We've got a develop and a test. We store it on the storage. We replicate between storage here, storage here. We've got our production database out here. Primary disk array. And it all gets backed up in a tape, and probably for best practices, the tape gets stored off-site, especially for archiving purposes. Okay. Now this is the biggest tape device we've got. It looks like an 8500 to me. Those are, for OD purposes, we wouldn't be having discussions. We might be adding components, but we will not be selling them. Exactly. A fresh increment and merge. ZFS compression further shortens backup recovery time. It's cost effective. It's highly performance. There's white papers here. When I send you these decks, you can click on those links and enjoy them. And we've got another thing called active data card. This is more database, backup and recovery options. So we accelerate development. So what does it do? What's in it for you using data guard? Well, basically with data guard, you can try your thing out, put it onto, let's say, storage, try it, and basically, oh, that didn't work, bring it back over, change the code again, put it onto your storage, try out the application you're developing, off you go. Using data guard, it speeds up the development of new applications quickly, okay? So basically how you use it, you just simply add existing data to your data guard environment. And once again, we've got automated scripts and workflows. And it rounds out operational environments, okay? So we've got development test. We can do cloning and snapshotting, make copies of operating system, make copies of our database, drag and drop them all over wherever we want. So it's very, very good for, let's say, quick development environments. And once again, we're going to talk about the Oracle and Oracle. Why is it so good? Why is our ZFS? It supports hybrid columnar compression. So it increases your performance of your database, sometimes the capacity up to 10 times. So if somebody's having problems and capacity problems on the database, here's a good upsell for, let's say, an option for one of your database colleagues. Comes to you and says, I need to help this person, okay? That's the way you can leverage this to make, let's say, connections and contacts with your database people, okay? You can get snapshots and clones for accelerated development. Writing that script, trying that SQL statement in the database, that's the development environment. Okay, I'm going to clone it, test it. Ooh, didn't work. Okay, delete that test, back to the clone I've got. Let's try a different SQL statement. Okay? Engineered seamlessly, okay? For Exadata's InfiniBand fabric to provide protective servicing using ORMAN, okay? So basically you can use InfiniBand cards within this so you can speed up the connectivity between different devices. Okay, backup recovery performance is dramatically improved with this. Okay, vastly improved. Supports the latest Oracle VM, just 3.0. So there's cloud computing features, live migration, Oracle rack relocation. Also, we've got advanced provisioning for virtual desktops and things like that. And for other Oracle solutions, Enterprise Manager Grid Control works on it. Disaster Recovery for Fusion middleware. Oracle Solaris cluster support also. So there's a support feature within Solaris, which is Solaris clustering. It's an extra purchasable option for the Solaris operating system. You can, let's say, tie this in for a highly available solution when you're selling, let's say, Sun T4, T5 servers.